Happy Saturday, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you are joining from around the world. I'm Chrishan Wright. I am the founder of Blaxit Global and the host of the Blaxit Global Podcast. So I am so excited that you're here. We are celebrating a launch party for season 3 of the Blaxit Global Podcast and our 1 year anniversary. So I am so excited that you're joining us for this party on YouTube. This is new for us to go live here. And so this is all about hanging out, having fun, and celebrating. And it's celebrating decisions, it's celebrating awakening, it's celebrating purpose, deciding that you are unhappy where you are and finding out what you need to be happy, to flourish, to blossom in a new life abroad. So I would love this to be interactive because who wants to be, standing by themselves at the party? Let's have some fun. You talk to me, drop your comments in, ask questions. I will be talking. As you can probably hear, there's probably an airplane flying by. But I will be joined by some wonderful guests, some that you may have remembered from seasons 1 and 2, and some new faces and voices that you will see early in season 3. So please ask the questions. We're going to have some fun. There are some prizes in store for those that stick around because you have to be live in order to win your prize. One of which is this lovely Blaxit Global double-sided mug. But I have so many things that I want to share with you. So definitely tune in. So with that, I am going to have one of our guests for season 3 to join us. And this is the lovely Char Winter, who is the founder of the Expat app. Hey, girl, hey.
So nice. Thank you for having me on. Just really appreciate the platform. It's been great listening and tuning in to all of the stories.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we'll get into like the Expat app, but first tell us where you are joining from.
Coming in live from Lisboa. So I'm here in Lisbon, Portugal. In love with the city, in the country as a whole. And it's been a journey, but I'm actually official. Just got my residency permit approved. So I'll be here for at minimum 2 more years. So just really excited about that. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, congratulations. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying it's a process where you get the residency visa first, and that lets you be here for about 4 months, a little bit longer because of COVID. And then the permit is what really makes it official. So I couldn't wait. I've been like, because the first one got canceled, my first appointment, and then they extended it, all of our visas. And I'm like, no, I want to be official. So when I had that appointment and everything went so smoothly, I was in and out 20 minutes. I was just like, this is a really big milestone in my life abroad journey. So I'm just really still on cloud 9 from the appointment a couple weeks back. So.
Wow. And I am right there with you, admiring from afar. And yeah, I have people joining in. We have Sister Geek. Hello. Excited to be here. Excited for you to join us. Thank you. So Char, talk a little bit about that because, for those of you that have listened to the podcast or are a member of Blaxit Global know that I am on my journey. I live in the United States and I'm preparing for my Blaxit in 2023. Char, as she mentioned, just got her permanent or her initial, right?
Yeah, permit.
Yeah. In Lisbon, Portugal. Mm-hmm. So I know in the beginning of my journey, I struggled. I thought like, oh, wow, it's like looking at citizenship. But now knowing more, being exposed to more people, there are different ways that you can enter a country.
Yes.
And, and so you talked a little bit about being on a tourist visa, and now having your residency permit. So can you talk a little bit about the differences?
Yeah. So a lot of countries will let you enter, especially as an American. We do have passport privilege. They'll let you enter the country on a tourist visa, meaning that you can be there for maybe 3, somewhere like UK is up to 6 months. In Mexico as well, I believe it's 6 months for Americans, and you're allowed to be there legally in the country. They may have some restrictions around work and things like that, so that's just something to consider. But then you can get like a residence visa, and that allows you to be here legally, and in some cases also work. So Portugal's residency visa allows me to work also here, and after the residency visa, you can apply for the permit, which lets you stay. So it's like this 3-step process, actually 4-step, because after 5 years of residency, you can apply for citizenship, and that's what I'm going for. So in Portugal. That's why I said it's such a major milestone, because that timer starts when you get the permit, not the visa. So that residency permit is when your timer kind of starts counting towards citizenship. So you do 2 years, the first residency permit allowance, and then when you go to renew, you can renew for 3 years, and that puts you at the 5-year mark at the end of that. I'm in it for the long haul. You got to pass like a language test and some other things, but I'm in it to win it. I love living here, and this is home now. So, and I've lived abroad in London before. That was a totally different process because I was there through a job, through work. So, but yeah, doing it on your own, it's a much different process going through these visas and work permits and all these other things, just trying to figure out what the requirements are. But I tell people, like, don't ever count yourself out. I applied during a gap year, meaning I wasn't working at all. So, you'd be surprised. Really look at the requirements and see if you have enough in your savings to make it a reality. So just don't count yourself out.
Wow, that is so remarkable, because like you said, it can be overwhelming and feel intimidating, and not every day is a good day. So I'm sure there are frustrations like that people don't see when they're on the gram and stuff like that. So it's great to have conversations, because it's a way to demystify what the process is, seeing someone who actually is doing it in real time. And in that, you've created this incredible app. Let's talk about it, because I see Sister Geek talk about, I love using the expat app and recommendation. So yeah, let's get into it.
I was going through this process, my second time around moving abroad was so different from my first time. And London has a huge Black expat population, and so it was easy to find insights into like what is life abroad like, being an Black American in London. When it came time to the second time around, I was struggling to find information about the Black experience in certain cities, because I was still trying to pick. And Lisbon was at the top of the list. And I'm doing all these searches on Google, YouTube, you know what I mean? And of course, I'm finding little tidbits of information, but it still wasn't enough. And I'm like, there's enough of us abroad that this should be an easier process. So we had travel groups. Travel groups was another, to me, segue to find information about Black people living abroad. And that gave me the initial idea to create an app, which could be a directory, right? You could just go in there, type in the location, and it pulls up people's profiles, our groups, Facebook groups, our YouTube channels, podcasts, So the goal was to create something that was like a central repository so that we know where we're at abroad. And it turned into something so much. It's just been really a beautiful journey. It is a lot that goes on, it's a lot that goes on behind the scenes.
Is it?
It's so much that goes on behind the scenes, but it's very rewarding when I do hear stories of people who, because of the app, have made, some progress in their journey to move abroad, or who have made connections or friends abroad. And that's the goal, is just to connect us and to amplify our representation, because we're out there. Like, literally, we have, so right now we're right under, I think it's like 1.7K members, but we represent over 110 countries. That's counting home country and where we are at abroad. And that, to me, is major, because we've been live for less than a year. So imagine over time, like, what this directory will look like. And people can post and share resources. So it's been, it's exceeded my expectations. Let's just put it that way. The reception from the community, with the help and support of like Blaxit Global and it's so many Facebook groups. Like I said, the goal is to be a directory. We're not trying to replace any of those groups. We just want you to know how to find them, right? If you're a Black expat in Lisbon, we have people of color in Lisbon. People of color in Portugal group. We have Blacks in Portugal group, or Blacks to Portugal, something like that. But there's so many groups that if you're not like in the know in that expat community, you can be out here really struggling unnecessarily,
Yeah.
and it saves you a lot of time and money being a part of these communities, because when it comes to housing, taxes, finding a doctor, knowing what schools and neighborhoods to stay in, these communities are lifesavers. So I just want to have
Absolutely.
a central place for us to store all this information and find each other.
Absolutely. It makes all the difference in the world. And I see it as, I'm enthused. I shared it immediately when you posted it. I was, flattered beyond reason that you included Blaxit Global in it. And I'm in the app like every day.
And that's what it's for.
Connections. And so,
I don't want to self-promote. I'm like, it's not self-promotion. I want y'all to share these resources because it's very relevant. The podcast that you have is phenomenal, plus the Facebook group, because guess what? You're sharing real stories of people to make it tangible for other people to know they can be abroad in a certain place with a certain career, with children, single, whatever it may be. The more we share these stories, you can literally change somebody's life, because Lisbon being realistic for me was seeing other people here. And I'm so glad because I love it here. So yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And you've been to many countries. And so for you to now put a stake in the ground and call Lisbon home and make that decision and at least have that forward vision just says a lot. Especially like you said, you spent some time in London and
loved it.
And you loved it.
I can't afford London right now on my social entrepreneur budget. So London, anyone who's interested, lovely place to live, but make sure you have your coin together before you move there.
And then I'm just looking at some of the comments here, and then I know we have Victoria that I also want to bring in our season 3 premiere. Let's see, Sister Geek, I definitely need this way to connect with community, especially as I plan for my own Blaxit Exodus. My timeline is around the same time as Chrishan's. Wow. All right. Yay. Thank you both for all the info. You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm so glad you're here. And yeah, I mean, the more we can share with one another experiences, and maybe not even just experiences abroad, experiences before, experiences in real time.
Even coming back, adding is important, right? You need community. So there's space for aspiring expats, people who are already abroad, expats, repats who've gone back home. You still need support because you have culture shock. And so, what's been the most helpful for you picking a location? Because sometimes people forget what it's like when you're in that stage. Like, what's been like the most helpful for you? And actually, why did you start the podcast and the Facebook group? Because you could have just stopped at one or the other.
That is true. But for me it was, and I think it's the same with you, is you created the thing that was missing for you, right? Yeah. And so I was looking for something that I could get answers and close to real time, have a sense of community. Yes. And then, also really amplify people who I knew existed out there, but just didn't have that same visibility. And so it was just like, okay, let me just put it all into one. And then, now a year later, almost 7,000 in the group. Crazy. And then, this expansive platform. And let's not even talk about all the wonderful media opportunities that have come from this little old podcast that I record either in my closet or in the room. It's just incredible. And let me see because I see Victoria is here, but let me see, I don't see her camera on. Victoria, if you're still here, if you pop up, we'll add you, because I definitely want to talk about, building this community and building a community with, there she is. There she is. Let's see, is she coming in?
Hi.
Hey, there she is. Part of building this community is it takes a village. And let me tell you, this village would not be flourishing the way it's flourishing without this incredible woman who is also our season 3 premiere.
Yes, I loved listening to myself, because I was like critiquing myself the whole time. I was like, ugh. But No, I shared it with my friends and family, and then just strangers, people I don't know, and they were just saying that it was a lot of helpful information. So I was happy to do the episode.
Oh yeah, I'm so glad. And like Shar was saying, we were talking about building community and just being able to bridge that divide for so many of us, right? We are creating the thing that we wish existed. Um,
Yes.
in all our different facets. And at the same time, which I think is so incredible about the Black expat community and experience, is that, I mean, pretty much everyone I've met, it's like we help each other, right? It's a rising tide lifts all boats. So if I know of an opportunity, I'm telling Shar, Shar's telling me, you're
Yeah.
doing in the group. We're collaborating, things that a lot of people don't see. But it is also because we know that in the pie, we're such a small part of it. But yet, if we come together, we can be 10 times bigger and powerful. And so that's the thing that I love the most is just this ability to just give of each other's overflow, time, energy, and enthusiasm. And I tell you this all the time, Victoria, it's like I've been so appreciative of your time, energy, and enthusiasm. And I'm so excited that you got to kick off season 3 to share your incredible story, not only about how you got to Orvieto, Italy, but also how now mom is part of the journey.
Yes. I spoke with one of our group members in Blaxit Global. They have a podcast too, and it's specifically for families, Black families who want to move abroad. And one of the things I was talking about was that when I came to Italy, I came as a girl. I was a student studying abroad, and so I was here as a girl, and then I was here as a young woman. I was here as a bachelorette. And now I'm here as a mom and, raising a little family, and it's a totally different experience. And I want to say like the best experience, almost the easiest experience, when you would kind of think it's the opposite. I know going into pregnancy and, just thinking about a new little life, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, how am I going to do this abroad? But I kind of think that when you just put it all out there, and that this is what you want your journey to be, the universe makes the way for you. And so I can remember being solo, before being a mom, and just like, I don't know how I'm going to make it. I don't know how I'm going to do it. But like with my kid, it's just like, it's like a flourishing, thriving type of thing, and not just a surviving type of thing. And I cannot imagine our life in the States being like this. I am sure I would be struggling because, I'm an entrepreneur. Things are not set up for when you're doing a startup and that sort of thing. It's not set up for you to, for it to be so easy, I guess I should say. And just here, it's just a lot of things are built in, that you don't have to think about. Healthcare, childcare, good food, your health, your wellness, like that part is taken care of. And that's a big part, and so it's just been a wonderful journey being a mom over here.
Oh my gosh. I love it. And I love that, your family is such a big part of that. And it also, kind of is a nice little segue into something that Shar is about to launch with Expat Chats Junior. And so to amplify not only the stories of people who have made the journey, but also elevating, children, right? Because so many people, when I make my journey, my daughter will be in college. My son is of age already. So that isn't as applicable to me, but being able to give voice and perspective from, different people, I think, that are part of the journey, right?
I know. We talk to the parents pretty often, but not the actual kids, just to be like, what has this experience been like for you? What do you wish your parents knew about how you feel on this journey? They go through it too, and kids are very versatile, it seems. I don't have any, I'm just going based off niece and nephews, but it doesn't mean that like we don't need to consider like the impact of those moves on them.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And a lot of them may not realize it now, but I'm sure they'll be better for the experience.
Sure. I mean, they're introduced to languages, different cultures. They'll grow up with that. It won't be strange. They won't have to learn it or unlearn some things. And they'll have that international community. You know, they'll have potentially international education, exposure to the international job market, currency, like all of that. You know, when my mother gives my daughter, and she's 4, some money, and it's Texas money, you know, it's US money. So my daughter's like, I need some euros.
Put some respect on my currency when you give it to me.
Yeah, like she's like, I can't spend this here. Like she knows that, you know. And I'm just like, oh my God, my daughter.
No, it's beautiful. And the way that I think children, like I was told they are able to learn languages easier at a younger age. Yes. So it's best that they get immersed in learning a new language younger. So, I mean, there's a lot of benefits. And just the safety of children abroad, Black children specifically. I don't think you can put a price tag on being able to know that your kid can freely walk through the streets and, you know, be okay. So,
yeah. And I mean, one step further, when we talk about safety, you know, we're talking about, you know, some of the things that we know we've seen recently and what has always been the case in the States, right? That is sort of that explicit violence and things that, you know, that we see all the time. But safety can also be the little things, the way that people look at you, the things that they say to you, you know, those little things that we don't really think
like
much.
Microaggressions, but it adds up. It's every day, and you feel
to
unsafe.
make you feel less than, you know. My daughter, you know, it's almost like she thinks something strange if someone is not, you know, if someone doesn't say ciao, buongiorno, bella, good morning, ciao, bella, or something like that. Whereas that's kind of strange to do or hear or experience in the States. I host teenage girls here during the summertime. And one of the first comments that they made when they came here was, everybody says good morning. Everybody says good evening, you know, and that's just a little thing of being acknowledged. You know, it's so important. Doesn't happen in the States.
And you know, the peace of mind of being able to exist in peace. You know what I mean? Not feel like you don't belong, things like that. My whole, even at nighttime, walking through the streets freely, these are all things I would never do in the States. So in the city, it's a level of ease to my existence that I will not put a price tag on, because I feel lighter here. I don't know. I mean, I've gained weight. I'm eating gelato, but I'm saying I feel mentally lighter because it's been I'm like, I asked for this. Like, this is the type of lifestyle I wanted. And I have it here.
Yeah. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. So it's just one of those things. And not to say racism doesn't exist everywhere. It's just not legal here for me. You know what I mean? So in the States, it's legal. Yeah.
I think it's not equated to violence. You know, there may be people who are racist or classist, and they may look down on you, and they may say something, maybe, you know, but that doesn't mean that they're going to hurt you or harm you, you know, or even try to stop you from doing something, just carrying on some sort of business, you know, that you're trying to do about your day, you know, whereas in the States, that's the case.
It's like, and if you could be doing anything, any mundane task, and oh man, it's so much. And I do one day want to share the details of things that have happened to me in the States. Just not safe enough for me to share right now, but there's a lot of things that played into my decision to move abroad and stay abroad a second time. So and it's one of those things where you have to just look at, like, you know what's my line? You know, what is my line when it comes to my mental space, my physical safety, financial freedom, you know, all these different things that play into our overall, like, just wellness in life. And to draw the line for what environment best situates me for this, you know, and it may not be when you're born. So don't be afraid to leave. And, you know, the good thing is that we live in a world where we can still FaceTime our family, because I know it's hard leaving family. How has that been for you, being away with a child, like from your parents or siblings, or I'm not sure if you have siblings, but, you know, like, what has that been like?
It's been fine for me because I'm introverted, a little bit of a loner, borderline recluse. So,
Okay.
um, it's not been super difficult. The thing about it is when I was in the States, I didn't, I wasn't super connected to everybody, like actual family, friends,
Okay.
we may go out, hang out and stuff, but it just didn't feel so meaningful to me. And I think that I had this world to compare it to because I came here as a student,
Yeah.
um, a study abroad student, and then I continued to visit. And so I continued to build relationships and find new friends. And whenever I would go back to the States, my friends here would be like, when are you coming back? We want you to come back. Whereas when I was here, nobody was like, when are you coming back? When are you coming back? And so it just made, and then when we were here, we were living life. We were going to the beach. We were on road trips. We were in the mountains. We were, and in the States, we were going to lounges, and which all of that is cool. It was just kind of mundane to me, and I think that travel does that to you because it just opens your mind up, and it's hard to go back. That's part of what I want to do, with my teenage girls, where it's just like, and it's not anything wrong with being in the States or being home. I don't ever want to say that. It's just that there's so much the world has to offer. And like what you were saying, what's your line? What do I really want to be here? I found that some people don't even ask themselves the question, should I move?
Yes.
Maybe should I move to a different state? Maybe I should get a different job, bigger car, bigger house, something. It stays along those lines. But should I move is rarely a question. And thanks to the Blaxit movement, I think more people are doing that. But it's like that's a question you need to ask yourself. The world is yours, and that's what I love about the Blaxit community. It's like we can make our home wherever we want it to be.
Here, that's the thing. Like the representation and seeing us all over, it brings so much joy to me. Given that people of color, Black people specifically, have been denied the right to exist in peace for so long. Us taking onus and like, no, I belong here, and anywhere I plant my feet. I love that. It's really empowering to see and to hear us building not just everyday lives. Like people are really, really like thriving abroad, and it's just a great thing to see. So when I have moments of because you have like obstacles, right? Being away from family for me is tough during certain events. Like I remember when I missed my grandma's birthday last year because of COVID. I couldn't go back to the States. I was really homesick, and I rarely get homesick. That was one time, and I was like, but you know what? There comes a sacrifice for the bigger picture of what I am able to do, right? And it's one of those things where I just had to remind myself, like, regardless of which life I chose, whether I chose to live in the States or live here, I was going to be doing some sacrifice. I'm like, this is what I'm willing to make because I know I'm going to see my grandma at some point. And I'm just grateful that, I was able to see her, a couple months later. So it all works out. Just have faith. And anyone watching this who was like on the fence, you have so many resources. Don't feel like you're doing this alone. The Blaxit Global Podcast plus the Facebook group, it is a welcoming group. Like, all the groups are different and there's so many. So find your tribe and the one that makes you feel comfortable. But I'm just happy we're here celebrating 1 year because I know how hard it is. It's a lot, yes. And just to acknowledge like all the work that goes into it. It's a beautiful platform that you built, and it's so well done too. So like, it's not just like you just threw something together. There are little things that I noticed, and I'm like, this is so well done. And the consistency that you all deliver is really beautiful. So I hope you both take some time to just celebrate what you've accomplished because it is a lot. It's a lot behind the scenes that people don't see the work that goes into it, dealing with trolls. Dealing with, moderating a group with over 7K people, even growing a group to 7K. That's very difficult. So, I mean, it's a lot to be thankful for and to celebrate, I would say.
Definitely. I think one of the things I love about Blaxit Global is that it really is a community. So we have newcomers all the time. And then we have some who pop in here and there. We have our regulars, our faithfuls, and that they can reach out and ask questions in the group. Sometimes they send us messages. And we've just kind of grown to know, some people where they are on the journey, and things like that. And so it's really a sense of community where, it's not like just strangers passing along information, but people, it's still us, and it's still, some of the same people who regularly post and share and inspire and all of those things. And that's priceless too.
Yeah. Has there been like a part of the journey where you all are like, I don't know if I'm gonna keep going or not, because you know how some days it gets tough. It's like some days I've had those moments, so that's why I'm asking.
Like sometimes me and Chrishan just speak in emojis. We're just like,
Legit, we have our WhatsApp chat, right?
Yeah.
We just hit each other up, and it's just like, hey, so what's this? Or, did you see that? Or, and then we usually come together every once in a while, every couple of weeks, and just have a phone call. And what I love most about collaborating and working with Victoria is just we pick, almost 99.99% of the time we are on the same wavelength. We will finish each other's sentences. We'll be on the same thought, and it is incredible because one, we have never been in the same physical space before.
Oh, wow, you haven't met in person yet?
No.
We're trying to put that together now.
We have never. Right. Okay. We've gone on the phone. We've done, now the video. Right. But we have not physically been. It's just like most of these connections. We're virtual connections. And when you have, you're on the same wavelength with someone, it just is an ebb and flow and there's an ease to it. And I know for me from day one, there was just that ease with her. And I was just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, beautiful. The chemistry and energy. I thought you all knew each other already. So that is awesome. That is beautiful. And it's so important. Your team will be probably, one of the most important parts of like building a platform like this, because you can't do it alone. I don't want anyone to think you do any of this alone. You got to get some help. Yeah,
you'll get burned out, and that's kind of my role and what I hope to do for and with Chrishan. It's just like, I'm always like, what do you want me to do? Okay, let's look at that. Send me the information. Let me look over it. Let's have a chat. Or I'll take over this. I'll handle this for this, for now, or whatever it is, because I know she's doing so much, and like you said, it's so well done, and that's not easy. And that's not fast.
Not easy. Strong delivery is not easy.
No, it's a consistency part, because a lot of people start strong,
Yeah.
It looks nice, and then it's like 3 months, like, where's everybody at?
And you guys have had some amazing press opportunities. Like, what's been like the highlight so far over the last year?
I mean, there's been a lot. It was HuffPost, the Miami Times,
man,
the Chronicle, In the Now, PBS, which was a few weeks ago.
Yes.
And the interesting part about all of these, and there's some that I can't talk about just yet. And so the interesting part about it is that it's all been inbound. It's not me.
Yes.
It's people who are finding Blaxit Global or doing some research on Black expats. And, I credit all of that visibility to the fact that I am a digital marketer by profession. So I would hope that when they're typing Black communities, that I wouldn't be a good digital marketer if I didn't pay attention to SEO and branding and my messaging and things like that. So it's really great to have that happen. But I also see it as a great opportunity to have a wider visibility to send a signal to someone who is sitting there, who realizes that what they're dealing with is something that they shouldn't be dealing with, or even has an inkling, or that butterfly in their belly that just makes them feel like, I think there's something else. Not sure what it is. And then they find out about the community. They come inside. They find, and those butterflies start to settle. And it's a new level of excitement because they have now a direction. And so it's all about making them feel safe, seen, heard, and then just, kind of helping them hone the vision and then taking that next step. So that actually is a great segue to our next guest who's popping in. And it's Juli-ann from season
Hi,
8, who also is in Italy.
how are you?
Popping right now.
In the middle of the pandemic.
Congratulations. What's that?
And you made your journey in the middle of the pandemic.
Yes, yes, it's going to be our 1 year, August 25th.
Yay! Oh my gosh, this is so exciting. Oh my gosh.
I know it feels weird. It really does. It's like we can't believe that we're here already 1 year.
Oh my gosh. And I remember when we had our conversation. Well, I remember when you joined the group and you were preparing to make the journey. And this is funny how the universe works, right? Because Juli-ann was living in New Jersey, maybe about 25 minutes from where I live. We did not meet in New Jersey. We too have not met in person.
No.
We did a connection, and she was preparing to leave, and I'm like, okay, I want to interview you for the podcast, and I want to get, once you get settled in and all this stuff. So when we spoke, I mean, they were very, very, very fresh,
Yes.
to making their, entry point in Italy. So yeah, it's so remarkable now to fast forward almost a year. Whew. Congratulations.
Thanks. It was a very bizarre time also. I mean, it's bizarre still, but then was almost surreal. We're just like, we're leaving. so it was no thought to it, but the packing was the worst. The getting rid of the stuff, that was a nightmare. The last 2 months before leaving, to get rid of because we didn't want to bring anything. It didn't make any sense. So we just tried to bring just the suitcases and nothing else. So that was really stressful.
I bet, because to make a decision, and that's the thing that like blows my mind about your story, Juli-ann, is like, and it's funny because I'm realizing I'm like, Europe is represented really well in this conversation. For you to be in the States, New Jersey specifically, see everything that was going down with the, the response to the pandemic, putting a stake in the ground, you and your husband, and saying, okay, the three of us, including your son, Alec, and say, you know what? This ain't it, y'all. We got to go. Got rid of what you had to get rid of. Whatever fits in the suitcases is fits. Masks on, hand sanitizers, because I mean there was no vaccine at that point, right?
Nope. No, there was a window, and we took it. We're like, we're out.
Yeah, and that's also remarkable because, at the beginning, and I know we talked about it a little bit in the episode, in your episode as well as Victoria's, was that Italy was really the center for a while. And so to make that decision to leave the US to go to Italy in the midst of the pandemic was just really brave, to just be so declarative that that was home for you. And so now to fast forward, a year, and, we've caught up since then, we talk a lot as well. We've caught up since then, and we had your son, and it's on the playlist for our YouTube channel, that conversation about adjusting to school, which actually, goes back to, and I'm not sure if you were listening in when I was talking about Char's new venture with Expats Junior. Just to have that perspective. Yeah. So Shar is doing something for the youngins.
Yeah.
No, that's really important because it was first it was my decision. My husband came along, and then he had no choice. So it was much harder for him to adapt. It took a lot of emotion, like a lot of support, because America is his home. That's where he was born. So for him it was a more of an adjustment. So yeah, for the kids, they really need and it depends on the age. So he left at 11, and I think that was a cutoff point, because if he had left, like the high school age, or 13, 14, that would have been a nightmare, to start over. So the cutoff point is really important. The younger, the better, especially for the language.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what about now? How's he enjoying Italy? How's the experience been? Although I know they're not going to school and things like that so much, but how's it been?
No, well, he went to school the whole year. They were in school. So that was one of the reasons I was like, he cannot stay out of school. I just knew that the pandemic in America was not going to be over. And so I'm like, okay, they're in school. I'm sending, he needs to go to school. So he was in school the whole year, which was good. But it was hard with the language, but no. And then we thought that he could speak. We thought, because he knew some Italian, we thought he was fluent. There's a big difference between being able to speak broken Italian and then being in school. So that was it. But no, I would say he's about 80% fluent speaking wise. And so he can really have a conversation with the kids and hang out with them, and be able to make new friends. So he's adjusting. It's no longer like, I want to go back. There was a point where he was like, I want to go back. Send me back.
I think that's normal, especially for a kid age. That's normal. That's normal for us, because we're like, when we first make the move, it's like, I want to go back. I don't, because you're not there on vacation, especially if you visited a number of times and you know the place as a tourist, you're used to the place as a tourist. But when you get there as an immigrant, we like to use the word expat, but when you get there as an immigrant, it gets real, and you're like, I don't like it really. I don't like it. Like stick it out. But I tell people who ask me, especially about the family aspect of it with kids, I'm like, you are home wherever you are. Like the mom, the parents, you are home. So wherever you are, they'll be fine. They might have some feelings at first, and they're legitimate feelings, because they have their friends in their life, and things like that. But you're home, and you know what you're providing them too. It's like an amazing opportunity that they can't really see yet.
Yeah, we had to. What he missed a lot was his room, his things. Like I said, we had to. But we have a lot of stuff in storage, so the things that made a kid's room, he would miss. So we had to sort of recreate his room, which is his space. Especially now he's 12, so he's a teenager, so they require their own space. So that was really important, to create a space that was his, basically. So because otherwise it's everything is different. The routine is different, and it's really quite an adjustment.
The food is different for them, it's not fast food culture,
It's different for me. I'm like, it's only so much pasta I can eat now. I'm like, I need some other food, please.
Gelato, she mentioned earlier.
Gelato every day on a gelato diet. Gelato and seafood. That's all my stomach sees. Seriously.
That's beautiful. When you have your, I don't know, like Chick-fil-A and Wendy's options, and then you're like gelato and seafood. Like that's living.
No complaints over here. No complaints at all. I do miss Juli-ann. My family's Jamaican. I do miss Jamaican food. I really
Yes,
miss it
I
a
do
lot.
a lot.
Yeah. I wish if anyone knows of a Jamaican spot out here, please let me know. I've been searching. I haven't found anything. The closest is like, it's nothing close enough for me.
No, I have to. And the thing is, I never cooked Jamaican while I was in America. But now I have to, like, no, there was no need. There's always some Jamaican store somewhere. Now I have to, like, really learn how to make Jamaican food because I do miss it a lot.
Sister Geek asks, what part of Italy are Juli-ann and Vic located?
I'm in central Italy. I'm in a little tiny town called Orvieto, and it's about 1 hour north of Rome and 2 hours south of Florence. So it's right in the middle of Italy.
I know where. Yeah, we've been there. It's beautiful. It's really quite quaint.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's near. We are in Lazio, so we are kind of central. We're north of Rome, but we're very central to all the different places. Like Orvieto, I think it's maybe 2 hours from us.
Okay.
So yeah.
You're like maybe northeast of Rome. Are you like north of? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have to meet up.
Definitely. When you said Lazio, I was like, oh wow, she's closer. So I kind of liken Italy to Florida in terms of like the geography and then the weather too. I mean, really all of Florida is warm, but the more northern you go, it's cold. The more southern you go, it's warm, really warm. But then it's a peninsula. It's kind of the same. And so we're like right in the middle.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to go.
Yeah. It's a horrible life. I don't like it.
Oh my gosh, because I'm like, and it's funny because I've had conversations with each of you for the show, and you guys know I'm in the midst of country selection, and I have my exploratory that's coming up in October, and now I'm torn between that location and some place in Europe, and I mean, even though I haven't visited either, so far, Europe is kind of winning out a little bit because I think about all of the places that I can visit.
Yeah.
At the beginning, and I would say the embryonic, stage of my move abroad journey and even just my travel. And so I feel like, being able to take a train and go from country A, B, and C in just hours, because if I go 2 hours, I could be in another country, and in New Jersey, if I go 2 hours, I'll end up at the Jersey Shore.
It's a huge benefit.
Yeah, you just need to drive. You just need to drive to get from country to country.
So I'm like,
and I remember, like at one point, there were a few times, very small, but like maybe 3 or so times when people like criticized me for not moving back to the motherland. And what I have to explain to people is like, this is your individual journey. Like, you don't have to move anywhere to validate your Blaxit, right? You should move wherever feels good and works for you, because I know there are certain requirements that I have being a social entrepreneur with a digital platform, like internet access that's very consistent. Lisbon definitely hits the mark, right? And other things that were really important to me, being centrally located. I love not having a car, so I needed somewhere where I could not have a car and be very comfortable. So as you look and think about all these different things, you do your exploratory, really make it for you, because so many people will try to influence your decision, even though they've never, sometimes in some cases never been there themselves. But it's like, it's your journey and your requirements. You don't have to wake up, roll over in that bed every day. So
amen. And I'm so glad you said that, because people always have an opinion. But you're the one who's living this life. You're the one who's paying those bills. You're the one that's making those decisions. And for many people, and I would say that more specifically about myself, I have had times in my life where I've made decisions because of what was expected of me or what I assume I should be doing or because someone told me this is what I should be doing. And then you know, because of somebody's opinion, and then you're the one now trying to live up to somebody's expectation who isn't part of your life, probably more often than not.
Yep.
Forgot what they even said, what little advice, right? But you held on to it and now you're in misery town. And so it's like, bump all that. Like, do what you have to do what lights you up, do what makes your heart sing. And it's not to say that you have to be in one destination for the rest of your life. Hell, I'm from the United States. And by the time I make this journey, I'm going to be 49 years old. I've given America enough. And now it's time to go somewhere else. Like,
somewhere else.
Yes. And
we didn't tell anyone. We just when we made a decision, I didn't have time. No.
Oh wow, that's great. I would be so scared.
Well, first of all, the embassies were closed, right? So thank God I had my American passport, and I got my Jamaican passport just in time, because I said if I couldn't get in on my because they weren't allowing any Americans in,
right?
So no one except Italians. So luckily, because both my husband and my son had passports, I just said I'm tagging along, and then I had my Jamaican passport, and Jamaica wasn't doing so bad at the time compared to America, so I just did not want to jinx anything. I didn't want to hear anything. I didn't want to I just wanted to be like so focused. So now we are out, and I didn't have a visa. So I just said I'm going on my Jamaican passport. Once we're there, we'll figure it out. So it was afterwards we called people and said we're here, and we did get like, oh really? Is that so?
It's good that you had options, because you know, while the U.S. blue passport has, you know, in my opinion, and I think there's some stats to back that up, has diminished in its power over time. For people who have and can obtain a dual citizenship, or, you know, either by heritage or what have you, go for it, because especially if you don't have to renounce in order to obtain it. Yeah, like do it, get it.
Yeah, that's when I realized how important it was. I hadn't had a Jamaican passport for 10 years. So no, I mean, so that's when I really realized how important it was, because they were letting in other nations, but they weren't letting in any Americans. And and the embassy was closed. Can you imagine? So you couldn't even get a passport if you wanted to.
Oh, I believe it, because now, I mean, there's a whole like side market of people trying to like sell slots to get in.
Really?
Now, because the passports are inundated in the U.S. Now, even if you pay for expedited passport, it's still like 12 or 16-week wait for expediting. And I think, I mean, there's no stats to back that up, but who knows? Maybe
I believe it. I believe
this big old influx of people trying to make an exodus. Who knows? I'll take it. You're welcome, America.
I don't know. It wasn't a very nice feeling to feel that I could, because I always travel, and you know, I would go back to Jamaica and travel for work. So the very thought that you could not leave the country, it was nuts.
No, that had to be unsettling. But I mean, I'm glad you were just like, I got you, bam.
That's passport power right there. You know, that's the goal, to have a couple of passports or residencies. You know, even now, one of the things I found interesting, and this isn't the case in every country, but there were certain people trying to come to Italy because they owned a house here, you know, Americans, and they were just like, I'm privileged. I should be able to come because I own a house. And it's because there's a difference between just home ownership and residency.
Yes.
Not the same. And so they were like, yeah, you own a house here, but you're not a resident, And I was like,
that's such a good thing to point out, because I don't think people understand the varying like states you can be in when you are moving abroad. Like I said, you can be on a tourist visa, you can be on a residence visa, but then there's the residency status. Like, are you actually a resident? Can you legally come in and out?
yes.
Yes. And one more benefit of having residency in a certain country, like now that I have residency, I can go through and move through the European Union like as a EU resident. So when they block everything, guess what? I can still travel if they're allowing other European residents to go through. So it's very powerful to have these options for you, because freedom of movement doesn't seem super important until you don't have it. So
Yeah. And
there were
people.
You said it, because I think we're all collectively feeling that now.
Future generations too. Like, this isn't just for you. Future generations will be able to benefit from the decisions you're making now. So, for example, like I can get a Jamaican passport because both my parents and my grandparents, either through parents or my grandparents, I can get Jamaican passport. So if I get a passport for our citizenship here, then I mean, of course, rules change all the time. But you know what I mean? More than likely, my children, if I have children, they'll be able to like have citizenship as well. So it's just something to think about. Give yourself options, and next generation options too. Yeah.
Well, one of the things, it depends on the country you're going to, because I know you said 5 years for Portugal, you can obtain citizenship. Yeah. And so here, 5 years, you can obtain permanent residency, and at 10 years, you can obtain citizenship. But residency is almost as good as citizenship.
In some places,
in some places, because you're like over here, and a lot of places in the EU, you're afforded healthcare the same way. If you've been here for so many years, you're afforded the free post high school or collegiate education free. Like a lot of the things that, and your pension and just different benefits, in addition to being able to move about freely within the EU bloc, you can do because you're a resident, not even a citizen yet. So just imagine you do have that passport, it's even better.
Very valid point. Yeah, and actually I may have misspoke, because it is at the 5 year mark you can apply for permanent residency, and then I think there's an additional, maybe it's a 6 year. Either way, there's a process between 5 and 6 years where you can take a language test and meet some other requirements and go for a citizenship as well. Yeah, but either way, to me, it's reasonable because like I come from immigrant parents, and like it took my mother and sister like maybe 7 to 8 years to get residency in U.S. And my dad passed before he got out. He was here for 30-some years in the U.S. So it's like, it's so many things we take for granted, the ease of movement that we have as Americans, where for other countries, that them trying to come into the U.S., it's really hard, It's really hard. Don't take that. And I tell people, are you going to denounce your American passport? Like, no, never.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
You have to pay to do it too. They don't let you just leave like that. You have to pay.
It might be tempting because America likes to play games, but it may be tempting to do it, but definitely don't do it.
We're trying to figure out the taxes though, because the double taxation, we're now trying to figure that out. Which can really that's why you'd want to renounce it, but then you have to look at the pros and cons.
And there's agreements with some countries as well, so that you don't get double taxed, or you get some type of credit on either side, either the US side or your home country. Like I know UK has one with the US, so I didn't get double taxed when I was in working in the UK.
The same for here. The same for here.
Yeah, it's one of those things, and we just had a session a few weeks back with Katrina Haynes on expat taxes, and just being able to get that information, whether you made your journey or are about to make your journey, just knowing like what are the requirements, what's the F bar, what's finer, and all of these other things. Is your income potentially susceptible to double taxation? And so just being able to like attend these sessions, get that knowledge is going to be helpful. Having conversations with other people who are in the country that you're thinking of, and just being able to ask questions makes such a difference. But then also connecting to the right people who are the subject matter experts, because I'm no tax expert, and I don't even pretend to be. But, just being able to, and that's why I spend a lot of time thinking about, okay, what does the community need? And then who do I find who's like the right authority who can speak to insurance or taxes or, creating a business in another country, right? Because each situation is going to be different and unique to that individual's family situation. But definitely knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. And yes, if someone's saying, oh, I heard this chat or this masterclass that I went to, and then I want to follow up with that person, and they're like, okay, that's going to be 150 or 200 or whatever that is. Those that pay attention. So yes, you have free resources. You have the Blaxit Global Facebook group. You have the expat chats. You have the expat app. You have the podcast. You have all these things. But when we're bringing in and lining up all the stuff that, we were talking about before behind the scenes, and then we're bringing these people to you, please don't expect them to do everything and share their knowledge that they've spent thousands of dollars getting educated and worked toiled to continue to give for free. That's not how it works, right? So we want to introduce you to the information so that you can make decisions from a place of empowerment. But part of that empowerment is acknowledging and recognizing someone and how they're contributing to your overall life. So that's really important too. So I see the chat is blowing up because people were curious about Victoria Superstar House Hunter International episode.
House hunters.
You've been spotted, girl.
I'm always spotted. I'm just like.
They were like, is that me, Victoria? Yes, it is.
Yes, actually, some lady friends of mine in my book club shared it just randomly today, and I was just like, "Oh, great!" And I always know when they re-air the episode, just on regular cable TV, because my email blows up, my LinkedIn blows up, Facebook page for Girl Go blows up, and people, I get letters and. Just all kinds of things, good and bad. Like I get like some straight haters. Like
what?
It's always the privilege.
It's always a troll. It's always a troll.
But yeah. So, but it was a fun time, and I do think that it has opened doors because more than anything, people ask me about Girl Go, and I get to talk to them about that, which. Like the main thing, and people here so funny, we can just be so like I had like braids, and I always have braids, but I'm just like I don't feel like doing it anymore. And so I have people staring sometimes, and I'm just like I'm wondering if this is why they're staring, but when I did have like my faux locks or my braids or something, always get walked up to, and Nikki, are you little Nikki? Oh my God. Tom, it's them. Come on. It's a lot.
Oh my gosh, they're like baby in Orvieto.
Yeah, and it's so small, so it's like you're gonna run into people. But it's just so interesting the people we run into here, because I don't think that they would probably speak to us otherwise. So how that is. But anyway, it's been a good experience and everything. And it's been like a good conversation started with people about moving abroad, about Black sitting, about Black teenagers and girls of color studying abroad and, living their best lives during the summertime abroad, and things like that. So it was a fun time.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I love your episode. And, we talked about it in the premiere of season 3, Girl Go. And I want to spend, some time because I encourage everyone who has not listened to season 3 yet, please do so. But I also, since we're here, would love for Victoria to share about Girl Go.
Sure. So Girl Go is just kind of my little labor of love, my little baby, that I founded and launched in 2015. And basically it came from a question, just a single question that I asked myself. So when I studied abroad, back in 2005, I was a freshman in college, and I got to come over here for the first time. It opened my eyes and my mind and my senses and everything. And it just kind of changed the trajectory of my life. And nothing was ever the same. And so I went back home after that semester, kind of with just a changed idea about what I wanted to do. I didn't want to continue four-year university. I wanted to work for myself. I wanted to continue to travel, et cetera, et cetera. And so I did that. And I did that through a lot of trial and error. But when I got to a certain place, like in my life and in my business and in my travels, and I was living like as a nomad at the time, I had visited so many countries. I lived in Mexico, et cetera, always coming back to Italy though. I asked myself, even though I got to study abroad at a young age, I was like 17, 18 years old. I was like, what if I had the opportunity to study abroad earlier? What would that have set me up for? What opportunities could I have had? I could have had a head start, on certain things. And I was happy with how things had worked out for me, but I wanted to provide those options and that opportunity, that exposure and that experience for teenage girls early. It's about being early in doing it. And so I launched Girl Go, and I had a pilot trip the summer of 2015. And then we did our first big trip in 2018. I wanted to launch in 2016, but my daughter launched in 2016. And so after I had my baby girl and kind of got settled into motherhood, we had our first big trip. We had 20 girls and junior chaperones, and we got to tour all over Italy. And then the next year, a lot of those girls went to Dubai, and like, it just opens their mind. And when we go into the program, we ask them about their ideas about studying abroad. And there are a few that, have an idea about possibly studying abroad. But after the program, all of them want to study abroad. And that just gives me so much excitement and so much joy, because they are freshmen, sophomores, juniors, seniors in high school. So they're going into college with this experience, with this international experience as girls of color. It's actually quite common for other girls to have these summer family vacations in Europe and abroad, but not so much for us. And so I wanted to change that and allow them just a little peek into what the world has to offer, because it's just like, once you do it, once you travel, it's just like a bug that bites you and you can't let it go. You can't forget it. And so when they go into college or whatever they choose to do, they kind of have that in their spirit, in the back of their mind, and all of them want to travel again. I get emails all the time from their parents and from people who referred their parents who referred them to me. And from the girls, where are you going next? What are you doing? And so for 2020, we were supposed to do Italy, Paris, throughout Italy, Paris, and then we're going to go to Marrakesh, but COVID did what it did. So we're just going to postpone that for next year. And we have a group of girls going. And interestingly, my program is for girls, but then their moms and their grandmothers and their aunties and their big sisters, like, everybody wants to come. And so we're, looking at doing some things for the ladies, so that it's like multi-generational. But yeah, that's the program, and it's been a blast.
Oh my gosh. I love hearing about Girl Go, and I want to give as much support and information and awareness about the beautiful program that you've developed. I certainly want to sign my daughter up, because you're right. When you give them that exposure, that taste, you take them out of their current environment, then all of the senses are awakened, all exposures. And then once that exposure happens, it just unlocks so many possibilities. And so that's what I love hearing about it. I feel like more people should, if they know a young woman who would benefit from the program, reach out to their parent or guardian, or talk to you, get your child involved, because this is how we make change, right? We understand, those of us that have taken that journey, who are in the process of planning our Blaxit, or, just being able to pour in and raise awareness and then bring the next generation of fearless individuals who are, blazing their own trail. That's what it's all about.
Yes. And oh gosh, like I just think about who they will be, in 10, 15, 20 years, because so I studied abroad here in Orvieto, tiny town. Most people think you're going to go to Rome or Florence or Milan or Napoli or somewhere, Naples, but I came back to where I started, and this is just the place that spoke to me. It's not for everybody. It's super, super tiny. When I say tiny, I can walk from one side of the city to the other side of the city in 15 minutes. It's really tiny. And so, but this is where I always came back to, and I feel like some of our girls, like I said, they came here. Some of them have visited Mexico, Dubai, London. I had another girl go to South Africa. She went to Johannesburg with another program, and so while we have our programs, I don't expect the girls to stay with Girl Go the whole time. It's like, go, explore, search, Google. Where else can you go? What else can you do? Whether it's study abroad or volunteerism or an internship or something in another country, go do it, because it's just like where it can take you. Look, like I'm from South Memphis, you know what I mean? Never dreamed about living abroad. Like that was never something on my radar. I just happened to go to study abroad from just something I saw at school. And so just the way things have gone for me because of that, that's the power of travel. That's the power of exposure and exposing yourself to different cultures, and so I'm like, I can't wait. I'm going to be well in my, I don't know, 40s, 50s, 60s, but hearing, the stories and seeing where some of these girls go, that's what it's about.
Absolutely. And I think about, my own journey when I was a kid growing up in Co-op City in the Bronx. Shout out to Co-op City. And I would journal about my life. And I would journal and I said, oh, when I turn 26, I'm going to be a corporate lawyer living in New Zealand. And I obsessed about New Zealand for years when I was a kid. I didn't make that journey to New Zealand, which you guys know as I talk in the group in the podcast, until, 2017.
Mm-hmm.
And it was always calling on my heart, right? This living abroad. But it wasn't until many years later, and to your point about why your program is so important, is if there was a Girl Go that existed when I had that little mustard seed, right, of a thought, how the trajectory could have been different. Not to, regret any of the steps that I've taken or made. It's just to say what road, how could things have looked? And so that's what's so important about being able to expose, our young people to information, people that can inspire them, to people who can help them chart a different path.
Yeah. And what we do in Girl Go, so we do a bunch of things and we want to do more things. But the main thing is our summer program. And so the summer program lasts anywhere from 11 days to 20 days. Like our first big trip, our first, what I call inaugural trip, was 17 days. I think that 14 days, 2 weeks is like the sweet spot, because as a teenager, they're going to kind of go through a period of culture shock, and they're going to be homesick, but they're also going to be awakened, and they're going to be interested, and they're going to be pulled in and drawn into what these different cultures offer. But one of the things that we do is we do cultural immersion, and we love just kind of throwing them out there and saying, hey, go order a gelato or go take a coffee or a cafe, you know, just even if you don't like coffee, just take it, just experience it, just have it. Or go and order a slice of pizza and try to say it in the language, you know, or just go talk to these group of teenagers over here. You know, you never know how that conversation can end up, but just open yourself up, you know. And throughout the process and the course of the trip, we take regional trains, you know, that goes up and down the country. We're getting on flights. We're going to museums. We're going to some of the historical sites. And then we're doing different little programs, whether it's STEM education or an entrepreneurship workshop or something like that. So whatever we're doing, you know, they're like busy. And then we have like some vacation time where they can go chill and relax and parlay on the beach. But what's interesting is in the beginning, they come here and they are green. They're like, they don't know anything. And they're doing this weird thing with judging, but loving and not liking and hating and loving and, oh my gosh, this is so cool, this is so weird, you know, just what teenagers do. And not knowing how to do anything, not knowing how to get on a train, not knowing how to read a manifest board at the train station or an airport, and things like that. And then by the end of the trip, they're like, oh, Miss B, I got it. I know how to get there. I know where to go. I know how to order my food. I know how to, you know, and that's just with the little time that they're here, you know. And so imagine a full semester or, you know, 2 or 3 months in the summertime of an actual study abroad program or a volunteership program, where they have more time to really immerse themselves in the culture. And that's what we're into. I don't want to bring teenagers here as tourists. We do tourist things, but I don't want to bring them here as tourists. I don't want them to be consumers of the culture. I want them to soak up the culture, learn more about the culture, immerse themselves in the culture, and understand these people, these different people, and where they come from, what they're about. And at the end, understand that they're probably not so different from you, you know. And I think that's the power of the program. And so it's so cool to just see this little transformation in their little minds where they're just like, why is everybody hanging their clothes up outside? Where are the dryers? You know, they only have washers until, oh, well, this is actually cool. You know, I like hanging my clothes out in the summer or in the sun or whatever, or I like catching the train and shooting down to Rome or whatever it is they're doing, you know, they're starting to change this, you know, their mind. And that's the biggest thing, because when you're in the States or wherever you're from and that's your home, you're in this bubble, you know, and you just think everything is supposed to be that way. This is how the world is supposed to do it. And it's like, no, different cultures do things in different ways and no way is wrong. You know, that's the power of opening the mind, especially for someone as young as a teenager, you know, so they can grow up, you know, more open-minded.
Absolutely. I think there's so much that you said that is so relevant. And I think, you know, I saw that the chat kind of start to pop up as well, is just, you know, seeing people resonate with the fact that, you know, the one who has a son who, you know, she's like, boy, go. My son is halfway through.
We're talking about it.
Abroad next summer. And, you know, just people being able to see that there is possibility. I'm just going through the chat now, and Flourish in the Foreign. Christine says, congratulations, Chrishan. Hey, Christine. And yeah, listen to Christine's episode. She's in season 2. And yeah, I mean, just being able to expose our kids, to take them out of their comfort zone, to be able to pick up little languages. They may be able to pick up parts of words, right? And then be able to piece it together. Like Juli-ann was saying, when her son, when they moved to Italy, you know, he had kind of like broken Italian, and then now he has a better command of the language. And so, you know, kids are like little sponges, right? They soak up things, and just being able to unlock those possibilities for yourself is so important. I just want to go, I know we got to get to the prizes too. And I want to go back to one comment, and I think this one was for Shar about Lisbon. And someone said they heard it is hilly. Is it hilly? I want to know.
Yes, hilly is an understatement. It's very hilly here. I'm in Lisbon, and you will definitely get your workout in walking through the city. So I advise anyone come here with comfortable shoes. That's my number one thing I would say to pack. So, but it's great because like when you first get here, it's like you're exhausted, kind of walking uphill. But then all of a sudden, you actually adjust. Like you get used to it, and you feel kind of fit. Like, whoa, I walk up the hill without losing my breath. So
Yeah.
I'm like, my buns better look like Serena Williams by the time I leave this place.
Definitely take those advice. Like when you hear about people that says, "Oh, pack comfortable shoes," like listen to them and pack the comfortable shoes. Like don't make the mistake that I made. I went to Greece. Someone said, "Oh, pack comfortable shoes." Thankfully, I did put one pair in, but of course, I had to have the heels. And if I didn't slip on that cobblestone,
it's cobblestone.
Like, listen to people when they say, "Don't bring this, bring this." Listen, because it will save you, your legs, your hamstrings, your butt, all the things,
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And so, I want to, because I know people are hanging on in part, because they want to get to the prizes. So let's do some prizes because there wouldn't be a party without some prizes. So I had, made people aware that if you subscribe to our YouTube channel before midnight yesterday, you're automatically included for a chance to win some prizes today. So we have one that I had shared already, the Blaxit Global double-sided mug, a $50 Amazon gift card, and now I have dry mouth. And the third is a book from our summer reading list. So we had our first summer reading list, and all the books that are in our summer reading list is on the Blaxit Global store on Amazon. So I have compiled all of those names, and they are in there. And now I have this like random name number generator. I'm like trying to, let's see, how do I want to do this? I'm trying to do it on
drum roll.
Right? I'm like, do I share? Let's see if I can share because I'm all about transparent. Let's see, share screen. I don't know. Let's see what happens. What's it going to share? Oh, it's giving me too many notes. Let's just trust that each person had a number, and I'm going to pick a number, and then whatever that number is associated with a name, but I have it on a different screen. All right, so I'm going to click to spin. Y'all hear, I think, the spinning. Okay, so that it's legit.
Very Price is Right-ish.
Right? Okay. And fanfare. I didn't even know it was going to be like, ta-da, right? The flourish. So it said 2. Let's see who was 2. TENNMAN. And you had to be here to win. So that the first prize is the Blaxit Global mug. So TENNMAN. So you have like 5 seconds to announce if you're here. Okay, if you're not, we're going to the backup prize right now, the backup winner. So in order, I had to give this some thought because I was like, okay, how am I going to do this in all fairness? So for those of you who are here, you now have a chance to win the mug because the person is not here. So you have to be able to answer a question in order to win. So the first person who answers this question is going to win the mug. So what's the name of our season 1, episode 2 guest of the Blaxit Global Podcast? The first person to answer the question in the chat is the winner of the mug. All right. So you got like 5 seconds because to pop your answer. So whatever it is, quick. So let's count down. So y'all go in your Spotify, your Apple, scroll real quick. So whoever gets the answer will win the prize. Come on, y'all can do this. This is like I'm spoon feeding you.
Go on there.
Like prizes to give away. So I feel like, I have things to give, and y'all should take them. All right,
Come
I
on,
know the answer.
Come on, chats. Those the people in the chat. Come
Yeah, I
on.
know. People in the chat. All you got to do, season 1, episode 2, the name of the guest, and you can win the mug. Boo, 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 boo. I don't know. Should I do like Jeopardy music or something?
I'm trying to. I can't. I'm trying to think like, what is the actual?
Yeah, right. I was like, all right. I guess that one was too hard. Okay. So we're going to go to the next one. Or maybe people are just like, I want a better prize. Who knows? All right. So the next
Amazon gift card is pretty
right? You know, they're like, that mug is cute, but let's see what else you got. All right.
Oh,
So let's see. Okay. Oh, wait. KF said Deirdre. Yay. All right. KF, you got it. You have a Blaxit Global mug. Let's see. Did I show it up on screen? Let's see. Let's see how cooperative. Yes. Did I? Yeah, you got it. All right. Please send me a DM and I will get that to you. Congratulations. Yay. All right. So let's go to the second one, which I said is the Amazon gift card. So let's see.
Okay.
Let's see. La la la. Do, do, do. So let's spin the wheel again. So this one is the $50 Amazon gift card. So first I go to, the winner is number 25. We have to see who, if number 25, who is a subscriber, is here. And that is Girl Mel, GRLLMEL. All right, Girl Mel, if you are here, please show yourself in the chat because you have to be here to win. So I'll give you like 5 seconds. All right. So then it goes to our next one. So let's see the question. All right. So now it is to our live guest, our live audience. Let's see what the question is. Okay. Which famous Black expat writer's birthday was this month? Let me give you a little bit more context. This person is deceased and spent many time traveling to several places in France. The answer, if you know the answer, you are the winner of the Amazon gift card. So, James Baldwin. Yes, Monica Lewis, you were the first one. So congratulations, Monica. Yay! All right. All right. See, I love sharing. I love sharing. So yes, please send me a DM and I will get that to you. Awesome. Yay! We got two. Congratulations. So we got the mug, right? We got one for the mug, one for the gift card. Okay. So the third one is one book from our summer reading book. All right, let's see. So it's time to spin the wheel. Number 8. Let's see who is right. All right, number 8. Brittany Young. Brittany, let's see. Brittany, if you are here, please show yourself. And if you are not, it's open for our live guests, our live attendees. All right. You got like 5 more seconds. All right. I think you are not here. All right. I got a question. Let's see. Gosh, now I got to think of a question. Let's see. Y'all got a question?
Okay.
People guessing what your Blaxit year is.
Ooh,
Your Blaxit year.
all right. I can get down with that. All right. So yeah, all right. Yeah, let's do that. If you are the first person to guess my Blaxit year, will be the winner of a book. It's your selection from our summer reading list. Whatever book you choose, that is yours, and I will ship it to you. Thank you, Shar, for the question. Yes, 2023. Yes, it is our kitchen classroom. Congratulations. Send me a DM and look at the list and let me know which book you would like, and that will be yours. Yay! Yay! It is 2023. So, because I believe in everybody should be a winner, I have something special for everyone, including our lovely guests. So, I am going to drop it in the chat. I won't play it because it will not be good for the YouTube people. And I don't want to offend anybody's copyright. So, um, but I have created the first Blaxit Global Podcast Spotify playlist. So this is our Move Abroad playlist, and it is featuring all the tunes to keep you in the mood for your move abroad. So it is a fabulous playlist. Let me see if I can actually share the screen. Think sharing the screen. I don't know if it will work. Let's see. Let's see if it will. Can y'all see this screen?
Oh yeah, we can see it. I can see it now.
So you
Exodus number 2. That was the one song I used to play that on repeat in the mornings before going to work.
There you go. So we've got our playlist. And so I've dropped it in the link in the chat for you to play. And you can see it is hours and hours and hours to keep you motivated, to keep you inspired.
That's awesome.
To help you on your move abroad journey. So
I was wondering if that was on there.
Which one?
I can't wait.
Yes. So it's like 40 songs to keep you motivated and inspired on your journey.
I see some petty ones on there too. I see mine. I love it. Okay. We gotta share it so we can get motivated. And I will say, literally, like when I knew I was gonna quit my job before I was coming to move here, I used to listen to. I had my little, you know what I mean. I had my music to keep me was motivated. Like I had an end goal. So these playlists work. I promise you.
Yeah, they put you in the mood.
Yes. So I want to make sure. Yes, that's right. Sam Cooke, Nina Simone, we've got you covered. So it's everything from Buy America all the way to, to like, oh yeah, living my life like it's golden. Like all the things, right? We've got you covered. So please, listen to it, share it with your friends. That is my gift to you. And please, also, this is our first time going live on YouTube. So this is something that is very, very new. But I want to use this as an opportunity to connect with you more. So just being able to, post different things. Like we also have, Victoria's wonderful video that she did on Nomad List. But we want to be creating more content for you, tools and resources to help you. And on that vein, we have the Move Abroad Starter Kit. So if you go to blaxitglobal.com/resources, our latest kit is there, and it has everything from health insurance, VPN, and the things that you need when you are, feet on the street, trying to figure it all out. And also our store, as I mentioned, on Amazon. So everything from accessories, podcasts, if you're interested in becoming a podcaster. So it is actually all the things that I use to produce the show. I will be having my first training this week. So I will be training people on how to produce a podcast. It's a free webinar training. So if you're interested in that, please let me know. Would love to have you there. But with that, I just want to thank my wonderful guests for coming out and celebrating the launch of season 3. And y'all are just so good because I was like, hey, y'all, you want to go on YouTube? Get down and share it of your time and energy and just these wonderful stories that, you know, are the fabric of this community and representative of so much. And so and deep gratitude to each one of you for that. So it was so much fun to hold this space. And for those that are watching the replay, please continue to consume the content on our YouTube channel, hit us up in the Blaxit Global Facebook group, and of course, listen to the Blaxit Global Podcast.
And just a real congratulations. This is a really big milestone. Most people
amazing.
Yeah, like this is a beautiful platform you built, and just the amount of dedication and time. I really appreciate you because I know it takes time.
Definitely.
And anyone watching, if you want to support people who are doing these efforts, you know, subscribe to YouTube channels, share material, make sure you're watching things all the way through. You know, things like that. It really does count because engagement matters, and the numbers may seem shallow, but they do help us. So please, you know, share, support, rate the podcast on Apple. You know, go ahead and give it that 5 stars. You know, just help us out.
Please, like Shar said, hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications. And Shar, thank you because you were the one that encouraged me to, you know, really to have something to document this milestone. So, you know, part of this launch party was inspired by you. And for the whole prizes, I know when Stephanie Perry went live on her platform a few weeks back for her birthday. You know, she was doing the prize giveaway. So, you know, thank you to both of y'all for inspiring this because this was so much fun. It definitely got me out of my comfort zone, but I gained so much more from the experience than anything else. So I just want to say thank you for that.
Thank you all. Beautiful platform. I love it. And major congrats, man. Take some moment to enjoy this huge milestone. You'll look back at it.
Very inspiring.
Yes.
Same for you, Shar. Like what you're doing.
Yes. So download if you have not already, download the Expat app. And Charlotte, let us know. I know it's on Apple, it's on Google.
Yeah, Apple and Google Play stores. We have an Android or iPhone. It's available. And, you know, connect with people. You know, don't just sit in the background. You have resources and lovely resources like Blaxit Global, not just the podcast, but there's so many resources that you all provide. Moving Abroad Kit, check it out. You'll be so surprised how you can save yourself a lot of time and money by leveraging resources because we've already done these things. Like we know, like, oh, this is the VPN to use. This is the health insurance to use and things like that. Yeah. So make your transition a little bit easier by leveraging the resources available to you.
Absolutely. And follow these wonderful women. They are on the socials. So follow these women on the socials. Hey, oh my gosh. Look at you beautiful self. Hello, sweetheart. Oh my gosh, what a wonderful surprise.
I've been peeking around the corner the whole time.
She's like, Mommy, are you done? Oh, hello, sweetheart. Oh my gosh. I love it. A way to celebrate even more. How wonderful is that? Oh, awesome.
Mine won't even come on the screen anymore. He's overnight past that cute, like, you know, wants to be on TV phase. He's like, nope. No,
she's just always, she wants to be in the mix. She wants to be part of the business meetings, all the business Zooms, all my clients.
Oh my gosh.
Where is this? She's always, so she's just trying to see what is mom doing.
Entrepreneur in the making. I love it. Right early.
Cherish it for sure. Everything.
I love it. So each of you have a wonderful day. I will post things in the comments. And again, for all of the winners, please DM me and I will get those to you straight away. And like I said, let us know, especially if you're watching this on the replay, let us know what you want to see more of, because we will go up more on this channel and grow together. So have a wonderful, wonderful day.
Thank you so much.
Wow.
Bye.
Bye for now.
Nice meeting you all.
Nice
Bye.
meeting you again.